fascination of life, the fascination of games, is the unknown result, not the known result.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. So, today we're going to check out, first of all, where we came from. I'll just draw a couple of rows here. So, I remember we did these intersections, right? Let's see, we have this error still where sometimes it creates, I believe it's an empty node, because it creates a node up here. Or the node doesn't even exist, but it just points up to -1.-1. So there is something wrong with how the nodes are being put together. We are pretty close to that solution. And another thing that I have to mention is I did a little bit of refactoring since last time, but today the idea is that we want to build houses. We want to make houses in the same way that they do it in the game Manor Lords. I really love the way they did the housing with these lines that you create. We're going to make a simplified house builder here, okay? So we're going to duplicate this first of all, okay? That's fine. You know what? Let's just delete all of these. Let's just start from scratch. So the action works as such. The action itself is just a class that is empty. We have this thing called action handler, where we have made a simple key press solution where we change the action depending on which key we press. Press 1, it's build a road. Press 2, it's build houses, and press 3, it's none. So that's back to nothing for now. So instead of creating the advanced one, we will create the simplified one, like so. And one thing there is with these builders is that once we're done, it should destroy itself. Okay. Yep, it ends with destroying itself. So we just want this simple house builder to create a house and then destroy itself. That's really all we want. So we just create just exactly where the mouse is. Look at these things. Just create the house. Then destroy it. It creates the house, so we can just create. Change it a bit. Let's try and see here. So now we can just keep creating houses. And same with this road, right? So now we have made a small city like this. Okay, that's cool. All right. So the next step is to display where we're going to put the houses, so we can actually see beforehand what we're doing. And it's pretty simple, really. So we can just draw the sprite of the house. That was actually a mistake. I'm supposed to put it in the action handler, not in the action itself here. So let's just remove this draw event again. So now we click 2, you can see, and that's exactly what happens. Okay. So these houses, of course, have absolutely no functionality. They're just a block in the space for now, and that's actually fine. So there's just one thing I want to make sure, it is that we cannot build roads through houses and houses on roads. That's basically the only restriction we want to make today, and then put in some people. So let's try and go back to the house builder, okay? The simple house builder, and that is here. Okay, so let's try and see. Let's put a restriction on that says if we're colliding with a road, and as we know now, we put in these collision masks for the road, and we are also doing the same for the houses. So it's going to work really simply. If collision, and one thing that I just realized now is that it's actually not just the road that we don't want to collide with. We also don't want to collide with other houses. And so what we're going to do with that is that we're going to make a parent object to contain all the objects that have a mask within the world. Okay, so let's just do that right now, and we're just going to call it object world solid, because there's this thing in the game that is calling itself a solid, but we're not really going to use that. Then use this instead. So we can see here, we can change these two. So we have the object road here, the parent. We can change the parent to be the object world solid. And we can do the same with the house. Okay? And that's basically what we have to do to make this happen. And then we can go back into the house. We can go back into this house. You can see here if collision rectangle, and then we're going to say -8, because I believe that's the size. Instead of object road here, it will be world solid false, and I don't think it's relevant actually in this case. And then we're going to say if it's equal to no one. Okay, then we create this, and we can copy this actually. We can put it into our action handler, and we can say here, okay, if, then we draw it, then there's else. We draw the same, but we draw it as a color red. So we display that it cannot be put there. Let's try and see if that even works for now. So we can start by trying building a road. And now here we have a house. And I can see we cannot build on top of this road here. I think I messed up the values for the collision rectangle check. But other than that, it looks pretty good. We can change these 8 to 16. And we will also set this precise to true. I will put parentheses around it. And then we go back in here. We put it back in like this. Alright. And before we go back and test this, I want to put it also in the road builder. This might be a little bit more complicated. With the roads specifically, we don't mind if they intersect with other roads, but we don't want them to intersect with other houses. Okay, so we will actually check for that as the very first. This is actually similar to this, right? So we have a collision line. If we have the house, and we also need to set this to true. Set it. Let's try to open all these events by itself. Create. Okay, so we see here is intersection, so we can say is house intersection equals, and we can go back in here. We say this, and then we can say end. Put a road here and see here. So I can't draw a road here. So it's okay. Exit. Yes. Oh, thank God. Okay. Else. There we go. And then just false. Yeah. So we're gonna do like this. Exit. There we go. And we're going to do that all the way up here before we do anything else. Otherwise we would create some node. So, okay, awesome. Let's try it. And so nothing's happening. Okay, awesome. But we can still create rows like that. Okay, perfect. So what we need to do before we move on to the last part is to add this thickness to the collision line when we make a road. And so instead what we're going to do is we're going to set this. We're going to change. So this is going to be if is house intersection. Then we exit. Okay. And up here we're going to say is house intersection. We're going to set it equal to this. Okay. And instead of this collision line, we're going to have to do something else. Okay. So we're gonna have it separated by 16 pixels perpendicular of the direction that we're going in, plus length here x, and the length is going to be 16 and the direction is going to be mouse here minus or plus 90. Let's try and say minus 90. I think it's minus 90 in one of them and plus 90 in the other one. Let's copy this. Yep, so it's fine. Let's copy this time. Here, and then change all these pluses. And it's gonna have to be or See that now it works beautifully. See, we can't create a road that close to the houses. But and I actually like that there's a little bit more space, so I think I would like to add that to the house builder as well. And then we can move on to the final step. And we can see here, so instead of 16, here I want to change it to 24. And the same inside of the action handler. So now we have this tiny bit of extra space around. And now it's time for the last part, which is just to have some people move in. And it might sound very complicated, but for now we can make it quite easy. Object citizen. And then we are going to create another object which is called object citizen creator. And then in the final measurement, the dev interface, we want to put in these so we have a citizen creator, and so you can see here we have the action handler, road handler. Now we're gonna say instance create citizen creator, and this is going to basically have a timer and check if there are houses present in the city, and if there are, they're gonna start trying to move in. Okay. And now this is just more fast. So let's make it. Let's check every 5 seconds. I believe our game frames per second. Yes, exactly. Great. Go in the alarm. So now you need to check if there are houses that are unoccupied. So house. For now we can just say residents is equal to a new list we create, okay? And then every 5 seconds we say var is unoccupied houses is equal to false. Instance number object house. House equal to house dot residence this size. This is 0, then this is equal to true. Break. If this unoccupied houses, now we can create a citizen. And we want to create a citizen anywhere outside of the border of the game for now. We say citizen x equal to choose minus 64 or room with plus 64. Room height by 2. Instance create. Okay. This is this. And then home. And then we say citizen.home is equal to this house up here. So we say equal to house. And so every 5 seconds it's going to check if there is any unoccupied houses. And if they are, they're going to make a new citizen, give them that's their home, and then we're going to say with house residence ps list add citizen. And then for the last part, we just want the citizens to slowly move towards their home. So if distance to object of home is larger than 16, x 2 1 y and same with this. Let's try and create a house. Now we have one house. Wait a second, if we will create a citizen or not. Oh wait a minute, this is the wrong. Is equal to 0. That was the wrong test. Let's try again. Let's try create 2 houses here. Oh, there we go. Oh no. A guy is coming in from the side, and this guy is coming as well. Let's see. And this guy lives there now, and then this guy lives here. Let's see. Very cool. Very simple for now. So now there are 6 citizens for 6 houses. And of course, later on we're going to add it so that's not just a citizen, but a household or a family that can get there. But this is what it is for now. Thank you so much for participating today, and I will see you guys next time.